100 days ago I bought 12 dragon eggs and 12 fire dragon armor, lightning tape, and in this 200-day video, I will continue to collect 10 materials and build all the rest of the armor. And most importantly, I'm going to find it and build raw 28 legendary weapons in fashion caught, breathing fire and ice. My target this time is the sea dragons. Sea Dragon has 7 colors, and when it comes to building armor, it needs to be combined with art scales. Art scales I can get from sea horses, or the mermaid, and more importantly, killing sea horses with mermaids. It also has a falling rate, rare items for me to make legendary weapons. This is the sea. I'm going to explore and hunt dragons. As you can see, this sea is extremely big period, and places where there's this rock indentation it rises. It's the place of the mermaids. I'm going to ride a dragon and hunt sea dragons, but see how it works. Its hip is normal. It lets the dragon fly and it swims underwater. It looks funny. I have to see dragons. Headshot it does so surprise. So I had to use the enchant apple to save it. This is a dangerous situation. No kidding. One of the things I dreamt about with him was that he carried me around. Our teeth can make a nail. In 28 legendary weapons, their teeth are rare. If you hit anything, it will fall out. After a while swimming, I've seen some hippos on campus, and its favorite food is kelp. I saw a cave of fire under the sea. I also came over to play a bit. It's playing souse so much that it flies out. Then it destroyed Mrs. Medusa's house. God, it's so messed up. Here you go. I don't know why I call these sea dragons. Toss. You guys look at him and he fights and he's like a maggot. He dances like right. Then we went and tamed a water horse. At first I pressed it all the time, but I couldn't press it all the time. Then I realized I had to sit down, then click on it. God, do you think I was wrong? When you click on it, it will show you 3. One is for riding, one is for mirrors, and one is for borders. The speed of this seahorse is very fast. It swims to tear the wind. It's swimming so fast that the map doesn't load in time. I come back. Take the armor and the trunk and put it on. When we are ready, we continue on our way. Am I too evil? When I kill my partner in front of him. Just stop feeling guilty. For a future that possesses all the legendary weapons. For a set of watertight armor, I need about 8 scales of art. There are 7 sets in total. Then try to calculate it. How many scales do I need to get? But these art scales are easy to find. Surf a few laps in these waters. These 2 things are hard to find. It's the mermaid's tears and the tail fin of the water horse. This is a rare item, so the dropout rate is very low. It's kind of like a widow's head. Kill 10 if you have a hip. And after a few days of diving up and down, he also dropped his tail fin. Now I need to find more dragon fins. The sea and the tears of mermaids can be caught home. Why do these sea kings hit so hard? Dragon magic armor that is cement armor. Where does it bite? I don't know. No, oh nine, no. Another new color. This one's purple. It's also quite large and it's got 12 scales. These mermaids, when they're on the belt, they drop the prism and crystals, and there's some art scales. I also don't know when. She just shed tears. By the time it gets dark, I've got a sea dragon. He got lost in the neighborhood of the villains. This one's skin is blue. Against the big sea dragons, I lured it to the shore to make it easier to handle. But in the water 1 by 1 with it, I feel pretty good. Just like I did solo with it a little bit. I've lost my ancestor. Now I have to be more careful with us. Maybe I despise them too much. That's enough, the 7 colors of the sea dragons. Now, I just need to rely on this to hunt. Let's get enough of it. In general, hunting these sea dragons, it's much faster than flying dragons. Because the sea dragons appear, then it disappears when the landing. So let's meet a little. Finally, there was also a mermaid who shed tears for me. In return, I lost my horse. While fighting with these guys, I swam around a lot to find it. But getting it back is a waste of time. I swam for it all night, but I couldn't find it. Until the next morning, I went deep down to the bottom to find it. I'm afraid it's being swept down by these currents. If it goes down like this, it's dead. So they say if you get this, you lose that. Now think about that really. And when swimming back to shore, I saw a marshy area next door and discovered there's a hare's nest. There's also in the swamp. The birds often fly in flocks to hunt. The feathers of these birds are as sharp as knives. If you eat one, it will hurt. Their fur can also make a legendary weapon. These two are also very easy to make, so I won't talk about much either. I started fighting with hare. The more you hit it, the more heads it grows. As much as you hit it, it recovers. The more I fight, the more I die. Not it. Until it gets dark, I threw it out to sea. And it costs almost 10 golden apples to fight it. See the situation, it's not okay. So I took the book out, read and learn more about this one. I know I want to destroy it. We need to have fire. That UI is heaven, ask why. I hit him in the water all the time and he didn't die. It's restored as it is. Then I had to use my chain to drag it back to the shore. When we get to the shore, I used a lighter to burn it and beat it slowly until it goes down. And he's dead, he only dropped 8 fangs. But when you look closely at the video, then I realized I couldn't kill him. It's the lighter that burned him to death. So go all out. I've been fighting him all day for nothing. The seahorse friend Kia left me. Now I have to bring another friend. I'm still wondering why. It can disappear in such a strange way, okay? Swimming pool shaved cat until it gets dark. I saw the same ship as before. Come here, mainly get some stuff and farm XXP. The most important thing is the treasure that's underneath. You also say you're the eye of a giant. It can also have a weak effect on the surrounding bosses. Take this up and cut me one at a time. Oh, he can't even do anything. This eye, it's a little too good. Playing games that aren't. If you read the instructions before using it, you are dead. The next day, I kept going into the swamps to find my son. This time I know how to kill him, without thinking and procrastinating, and play blood with it. And its heart. It is one of 28 legendary weapons that I am looking for. I was walking through a green mushroom. Here I see a flock of ancient birds and a carnivorous plant. I think this is also a forest, but the Shopee version. Then I also used it. I want some to get some hair. Our hair. He also invented the legendary Be a Pepper fan. Back to the swamp. I hunted more feathers of brown birds. I need about 10 of their feathers somewhere. In general, everyone we kill falls off. So it's easy. The next day, we went to the island and found out there's a centipede. I used to play with Bender. I found my grandmother without seeing her. Now the sword is telling the truth. It's not one, there's a lot of them. There is more evil there, and I noticed that some of them don't have a fungus on their heads. It's kind of balding. After all these days of toiling in these damned waters, I've hunted enough scales and find everything I need to find. But before leaving these waters, I have one more thing to do. That's the hero and catch all the water horses. We have 6 colors, and they're easy to find at the bottom. The water horse doesn't sound too loud, so I ordered a 6-color sea pig. Let's hear it, pig. These horses are easy to raise. We don't eat much either. I can use it big. This is the orange one, red child. Next is a whole bunch. I'm kidding, but I only caught one color. Too much food for tired body. Another yellow one. I'm green. The next one is also blue. But when you look underwater, it's hard to see, so I looked at its fins. One is blue and the other is yellow, and one of them is blue-green fins. And in just one day, I've caught 6 of them in 6 different colors. Then I used a brick fence to build a cage to lock them up. And grow some more trees to let it be more alive. So that's it, we've got a pigsty. Oh my god, look how happy they are. I haven't eaten yellow carrots these days. Dragon hunting is too good to eat. And when you eat this meat, it's a little bit depressing. Go back to your house and pack up all your stuff. After a long trip, I have a lot of minerals now. I don't know what to do anymore, I guess. We need to play and show off to the villagers. Let him squint. Play again morning. The chicken has become a hard-working farmer. I feed the animals and animals because I starve them these days. And we're also going to harvest this grain. I read a comment from a friend. Are you planning to harvest one? But baby hips. There's a mode board in here. We can only harvest each tree. And another young man commented that the arc had an infinite loop. Why use a regular arrow, but use a wider arrow, make it stronger? It can't be used. Infinite flow, it doesn't work with any arrows. That it's strangely built or squeezed. It only works with normal arrows, sir. You're talking about what I forgot. I made a large backpack and dyed it yellow. But it looks pretty much the same. And this backpack is that I let the legendary weapons? I'll put it in the same order as the label, to be recognizable. The first is, I will use cactus and weather bone to make Robbie a dragon sword. Then I used 3 flasks of blood to press 3 swords. And this is our first 3 legendary weapons. When attacked, the fire will ignite. The ice will slow down and the lightning will shock. It's like heaven's beating. Next is Medusa's head. Medusa's head will turn to stone, any creature that looks into her eyes. So it's extremely OP. But the baby's petrified. I can't get any of them anymore. The eyes of the giants will weaken. That is, it's a weak effect on all the fats around us. And the damn cabinet can't even beat me. So it's pretty good. The next legendary weapon is the mermaid's flute. Its use is, this will cause the modes to get bad breath within 10 seconds, and it can't attack itself. The next weapon is the tail of the water horse. Its use is to slow down and stun BA. In other order are the 3 mouths of the desert worm. It's just for the same purpose. But when it scrapes, it pulls the opponent back. It's no different than slapping yourself in the face. The next weapon is a bunch of swamp bird's feathers. Each hair like this can only be used once. Using one is lost. It's bad luck to launch this. Maybe the hips are always attached. And then the knife is made of their hair. This knife has a very fast attack speed. Get this knife at the beginning stage. I think it's pretty good. And then there's the bee, a pepper fan from the feathers of ancient birds. This tree, when hitting the enemy, it will make the enemy fall. And I even heard the sound of carrying. Bone nails made from the teeth and skin of sea dragons. The tree is very large. Launch and hit is dead from a monster. This be a nail is also quite good, and it looks beautiful. My heart is hero when I hold it in my hand. And if we're attacked, the effect heals. The more I'm attacked, the more the effect will be on me. Let the pigs beat me. And I don't see any worms. And the rest of the legendary weapons are kois. Empty cells and badge are the missing weapon cells. I'm missing about 10 more trees. But these 10 trees will be hard to find, much more than those trees. Generally speaking, it's a bit rare. Now to the most important part. It's making sea dragon armor. But before we build it, we'll fix this place. Let's make it a little nicer. The first set I put on the shelves was the blue one. Then there's copper, and then there's deep blue. Green, purple. The last red is blue. And our goal has been accomplished. It's making sea dragons at all costs. Now, let's go to the next target. I just fed the cows. Then I realized I hadn't shot. I feed them and talk too much. But forget to spin, it is more spicy than how. At the same time, I also broke an egg. This ancient chicken. I found a lot of eggs in the chicken coop, but I don't understand why when I'm spinning, my hip is spinning. Smash it back. Is it real? And someone will tell you to shut up and not ask a few questions. The next day, I went out to get the ingredients to build the rest of the legendary weapons. This time, I'm looking for a hip-hop rap, and when you kill it, you have a chance of dropping the nail. Let's make a legend sword, but killing it is a bit difficult, where there's only 1 or 2 of them. They don't show up much. It also doesn't have to disappear and appear like hell, so it's going to be hard to find, and the only way is easier. I tame and feed them. Feed them so that they will produce more. This is the fastest way I can think of. I forgot that many of you wanted me to name the dragon. When I read the comments, I saw it somewhere. There are about 6 friends, and there's some really cool names. And there are some names that don't sound strange. It's impossible for a dragon to have 6 names. So I had to turn to the lucky wheel, and let's see which name this spin hits. I'll give that name to the dragon, and that is... What the fuck is the name? I want to stick my tongue out. God's will is determined, there's no question. Even though the name is a bit boring, still have to endure. Who the hell named the bullet? It hasn't rained yet. I don't know when I'll be waiting forever. I don't know when. And then I made some chains, because coming soon, I'm going to use this chain to tie up the hippos. If you don't tie them up, they fly away. They're fast. So I have to fight first. There is no hippo. So I had to go into the woods to find the fairies Tina Bell. And when you bring these fairies, there's a chance they'll fall. The fairies' wings, even though it's a little sinister. But there's no other way to make friends. By nightfall, I had killed this village. I can't get any wings. It's all dung. I thought this rac-kun. After eating it, it changes. Eating the daffodil is like playing with a toy. Luminous flying suspended lesbians. There's another village. Was swept to this third village. The first is a bit crowded. I shoot until it gets dark and it's not over. When we go to the sea, we shoot. I looked into the water and checked. I saw its wings. I don't know when it fell out. So I went to a total of 3 villages and killed somewhere between 30 and 40 fairies. Sign. Say what you want. We've acquired the legendary weapon from Tina Bell. If you want to use this magic wand, you have to have magic powder. And when it hits the enemy, I'll be suspended and glowing for a few seconds. This tree I went to tease people is quite fun. There are 9 more trees. Hippo age. I can find it easily in the mountains or in the riverside forest. These are the 2 areas where I can see it most easily. In those areas, I agree. These hippies, they kick up into the sky. If I can't recover, I should chain it up to protect myself and the animals around me. This hippo, he's fighting a lot. He meets AI. He whips them all. If we want to tame it, we need rabbit feet, and rabbits have to hunt. So I decided to fly to the desert to get some. I saw the village's house in the middle of this desert. It's quite convenient for me to raise rabbits here. After building the cage, we went to the desert to find them. It's been a very difficult journey to catch us and lead us home. When the rabbits, it's been targeted by a lot of other creatures for meat. All the serpents came to the desert worm. It's more than it's worth. It's worth until the end. I feel like if I keep going like this, I can't. So I went home, harvest some more carrots, and build some more iron cages to make it easier for Cho to catch. Catch them until the next morning. I found a level to lightning cactus, so I've collected 5 lightning dragon heads. It's enough for 2 level 1 fire and ice dragons. With this cemetery, you say there's a mirror in the grave. I also listened to what I dig down. You didn't see anything. I don't know, you must be messing with the cemetery. There's something I need to get in here. It's this cursed mirror. When you open it, some ghosts will appear. But those ghosts, they're also dropping rare items. Then I found out there's a hole next door. And hill or termite. We don't feel very friendly either. So I'll call it a connection. I will save the store for another occasion. Now I'm going to do something else. When I went to the savannah, I had one that I hated. That's this ancient chicken. It's just annoying. When he saw me, I went to work with him. What is vomiting? All kinds of ostriches, hunting for what we want, depression. Why? Run again, run it. I also try to see how much dignity I have. Then raw it is so only hairy with skin. You can see the bar up here. It's very clear and detailed. I can also stuff carrots and squeeze a little rabbit to grow faster, but it's a bit of a carrot. After how many days my chicken, his work has also grown. I can give him orders and follow him to fight with me. But I think it goes with me. It only has newspapers, so you can stay home. This is a treasure trove of extinct animal bones. And here's their skin and their teeth. If you want to stop this extinction, like and subscribe to the video immediately. I think it's time to reset the population. It's shaking its shit all the time. When you look in their direction, I'm afraid of laying too much of it. The world is always on the line. If I play with this satyr, I can't stand it. With this meat and this bone, I think it's enough to raise to more dragons. I flew for 2 days next year. It's pretty boring, and still don't get that thing called luck. It's all about seeing dragons and dragons. So I went back to the garden to find new joy. There are 2 types of this joint. One lives in the desert, the other in the forest. The ones in the desert have orange-brown skin. In the forest, it is blue. It doesn't hurt if we bite, but it's the thing that kills. Slowly draw blood and go. In each nest, there's usually a god that lays an egg. Just a little bit, it produces a fruit. It's eggs we can hatch, or make weapons legend. I'll take 5 frost, mainly for weapons. The next day, I flew to the jungle to find more termite colonies. In this area, it's just trees and grass, so it's very hard to see its nest. I had to use the help of a map to find it, sweeping in the underground. Then I saw one too, but it's a bit deep. I've come down here mainly to get eggs with skin. And there's nothing to take, just 3 things. And when there's enough evidence to kill the princess for the skin, then I flew back to the desert. Finding these ancient chickens is a waste of time, so I changed my target to ghosts. I put the trunk down and opened it. Just like that, the ghost will appear constantly. I brought it until dark. No one will fall out. Then suddenly there's the ghost from the cemetery where it came out. It gives me a surprise to cry. goes embryo when pressed against the cactus sword. Then he will be executed for his soul. This soul blade can hit near and far. When we hit the distance, we launched a tree like that, but in the form of a soul, and it can go through walls. By the way, I also built a weapons from the eggs of the god termite. When you use this weapon, it creates a colony of termites. There are about 5. It flies, it protects itself. Who is he looking for? Is that it will automatically take action and it will protect itself. And when 1 in 5 of them dies, they're all dead. What kind of weapon is that weird? These are 2 sets of termite armor. So far, I have not been able to distinguish. It's termites or ants. I see too many dragon scales in the trunk. Let's make smoke out of raw so that we can make a dragon furnace. Fire and lightning, I thought it wasn't enough. I thought when it was finished, there was a pile. That equal quantities are always virtual. After placing it, I have about 27 dragon bricks left. Fire and body now, I can't exchange the scales. So it's probably just for home decoration now. I just saw a kangaroo. It killed a crocodile rally. A few days later, I found one on a rocky beach. I caught him and chained him up and fed him to rabbit legs. But feed it to rabbit legs. It's nothing to do with its abdominal muscles. And about 200 blocks away, I saw another one. I quickly chained it up. Then I took him back with me. If we are not submissive, he is cunning. When he met me, he kicked me. I want internal trade. Their food is mostly bunny soup. So I need to get some more brown mushrooms, carrots and potatoes at home a lot. Feed it until the next life. While feeding the rabbits, I found out there's a scythe, available index 25% music items when killing monsters. And then I thought, well, if I push Japanese BA into it, then the odds will drop higher. And then I went back to my house and I enchanted all kinds of ostriches and get the best lines pressed against the side. And then I realized that the rabbit's foot burn rate, it's very low. I killed most of the barn and got 2. It's also these 2 rabbit legs, just enough to get one. I'm looking for more rabbit legs. I found a red-eyed rabbit on the map. Dig inside. I see that inside this is an architecture, and there's for stinking cages in here. And the boss in this place is the killer rabbit demon. It's so small that it has martial arts, running like the devil. If I hit my hip all the time, I would have picked up 10 shots. Maybe he won a shot. Hold this, hold this. Then you know that. This is the first one I wrote today, and it's only the first. That it drops out of its eye. Now, have you seen the effectiveness of this side? Cut the drop. I knew about this side earlier. It didn't take that much time and effort. Just take it now. I've swept the desert area. Now to the snow. And when I recovered my second child, I went home to harvest carrots with potatoes. I put the potatoes in the oven. 9. And then we mix it up with a lot of different foods to get rabbit soup stew. After feeding and mating, he will lay an egg for himself. It's a small hippie, and it takes 1,200 seconds. Let it grow into a big one. And the next meal for the big 2 is 300 seconds. While we're waiting for our next meal, we're going home. I built a staff right away. Its use is to shoot out a withering ray and withers opponents to death. This is what I was attached to. It's a little annoying. And one more legendary weapon was added to the batch. Then I used up all the bones and all the meat to make food for dragons. I have a stat of 21 pieces. I fed the red fire dragon to reach level 5. From a tiny first-rate dragon, I want to grow up to 5th grade. I need about 123 pieces of meat. That's the number I calculated. After I feed this fire dragon, there's one more lightning dragon missing. There are enough elements. And after a day, it's also sprayed enough embryos. Let me make the fire dragon armor. Today is only day 156, so we've got plenty of time to do other things. Let's continue to feed these people, please. This job is very simple. Let the 2 of you finish eating, and then I smash raw with my egg and I tie that one up. It's a place where we put the 2 of us together. Over time, it's going to get bigger and bigger. Cost of food. I don't know how many days it's been, but this is the number of hippos I've raised. Now comes the best part and the worst part. Grow up and kill. Who would do that to mythical creatures? If you have a nail scissors in here, it's fast. Not to kill. Oh, god damn it! Killed exactly 4 of them and it fell out. I take the time to feed the whole bunch. What should I do with them now? Here and get the Hippo Claw. This Jeep Hippo Claw sword. I saw it slashing just like a normal sword. I don't see anything special about it either, except it's the hippie's claw. The hero of the village is all for nothing. Diamond hooks or something rare, go away. The remaining legendary weapons. Are your weapons drifting? 3 areas where you can easily find it. Under the deep caves. It's a wooded area, rocky mountains and snow. That each area will be a different skin color, and I need to hunt for all 3 colors to get enough. Fire dragon that sprayed into the forest. There's nothing else to cry about. These floats. I don't know if it's high or not. I just think these floaters. It's going to appear in big caves. I tried to go back to the ice cave because I've killed some of them here before, but walk around the cave forever, but I don't see any. Back to the base on the snowy mountain. If I see snow, it must be raining. So I went home and started hatching to gray dragon eggs. I think there's not enough food for 2. I ate, so I put the animal in my backpack. And after a thunder fell, it's the birth of the thunder dragon. And with the little bones that are left, I'll make them to eat. After eating it, it's 5, but not full of blood. This is a black male. In BA dragons, I think the living dragon is the coolest. When you hear it roar, you see its power. I went back to the cave to find Choi. And I have a great way of finding it. And they couldn't have expected it. I use the wave store. When I use the wave store to move to another area, this area will reset. The hell, it will disappear. And when I come back, it will appear completely new. And that's how I'm going to get them to drift. Because they're also creatures, has a natural rate of appearance and disappearance. So this will be the most effective way. You will have children in a long time. It just dropped a snowball or a brick. Too bad it's just out of those things. A few days later, I rode a dragon to the mountains. Below! These mountains are home to these dragonflies. A few days ago, we were hunting for snow. If you have children, it's pretty much the same color. If you look at me, I will kill you. Next, I went to the forest to set up the wave store. I went back and forth, and once it showed up, I guess it's 55 to 10. I'm not sure it will be 100%. And after so many thousand days, I picked up Koi's stone pillar. He also collected 28 legendary weapons in the dragon world. Now there's only one last thing I need to do. It's hunting for their skin. When I finished my goal, I flew back home on a dragon. I took all the bones to find it. Let the dragon eat it all. Diamonds look a lot, so spend a little to make a diamond armor for it to wear. This living fellow is well liked to wear that diamond armor. Those two dragonflies over there, he must be jealous. And when there was a thunder dragon, then we exploit its labor. I need a lot of dragon steel, so it's going to be hard. While waiting for it, then I made the skin of my Choi Ra. At first, I thought there was only Choi S armor. But when you look closely, it's got 3 cheats. It took me a couple of hours to find and hunt enough skins. But no, the hard work is enough. Now reward the rewards. While hunting, they also fall off skulls. These things are also considered as a trophy. I put myself in a circle in the house. It looks good and this and that. I find the situation a bit difficult. When you make this nest for 3 people on the cliff. Now look at their size, they're too big. Just recently built Sao. The dragon only lives at night, so it wakes up at night. If I go to bed in the morning, it's always. So I have to stay awake with it. So that it works, it sprayed into the smelter for me. While we were waiting for it, we dug another room. Let me show you 20T legend weapons. I made it small enough to decorate. There's no need to be fussy. And the dragon guy also sprayed 20 for seal. Then I made a steel dragon armor. Finally, after 180 days, I've also finished collecting all the armor and all the legendary weapons in the loss, breathing fire and ice. And I'll take this lucky spin. Name the other 2 dragons. The red one is called Kisara and the wave is called Kisara. Holy Dragon is a great name. If I shoot another one, this one is out. This blue-eyed white dragon is less addicted to Yurio. Now we're going to take a tour. Look at what I've done over the last 200 days. The first is the home of the king, the Bell Fairies. I am very handsome or follow me all the time. This place is the easiest armor to find. It's silver billet copper armor. In the middle is the border of desert forms. There are 12 dragon eggs in here, and 12 different sets of dragon armor. And I've also divided it into 4 sets on each side. It's for fires, for ice, and for lightning. Back out is the armor of the sea dragons. Opposite are 2 sets of termite, and 3 sets of Choi. I think these sets are normal. These 3 are hot. These 3 sets are so good that what looks so mesmerizing. God, people have gone to bed and now this god is awake. It's a night owl. Get over that son of a bitch. We're going to the last room. It's a room that contains 28 legendary weapons. It's so beautiful. And that's what I did. For 180 survivors in the world of dragons. You're probably looking forward to it too. I will build and repair this base. Right hip. I want to, but it's full of people. Now it's sparkling.